Hello everyone. We are going to study about the human resource process in the human resource management. So let's start by the contents which we are going to study today. It is the introduction, the meaning and process of human resource. Now let's start with introduction. What is a human resource planning? A process in which an organization determines the staffing support they will need to meet their business and customer needs. As a HR manager, it is the most important and primary function of management, which the HR needs to be expertised. It is a process of selecting the organizational objectives and taking correct and effective actions to achieve those objectives. In planning, it must be realistic and it should be workable, and those objectives and goals should be achievable. Now, let's study the meaning of human resource planning. What is human resource planning? The process of forecasting future demand and supply the right type of people in the right number. As a human resource manager, he should have the capability to understand what future demand will arise in the organization and in the human resource department, and what type of right people on based of what criteria he should select or she should select, and the supply should occur on time. According to Coleman, a process of predetermining the manpower requirements, the means of meeting those requirements in order to carry out the integrated plan of the organization is called human resource planning. Now, let us study what are the steps which occur in the human resource planning and process. The first one is organizational objectives and policies. It is very important to understand the objectives and rules regulations which are written in the form of policies in the organization, to understand what is the criteria and environment of the organization, what the organization wants to be in the future. So, by this, we can understand what is the demand which will be arising in the future. That means forecasting. It is very important for a manager to forecast the human resource very effectively, as if the demand is forecasted effectively, he can have the pre-planning of candidate, the skills and knowledge experience which will be required for the process and for the job vacancies. A brief job description and job specification should be there in order to give it to the recruiters who will hire those people for the organization. The next one is forecasting supply of HR. A HR should know who is the perfect recruiter, on whom they can trust, who will supply the exact number or a quite less number, but the demand should be equal to supply. The right candidate for the right job should be hired by the recruiter in order to fulfill the demand which is arised in the organization. So for this, the next one explains HR programming. It means understanding what type of work environment it is there in the organization, how the program should occur, the demand and supply should intersect with each other, and what type of people at what time should be hired in the organization, and what pre-planning, post-planning, and what are the alternatives they can have for their future demand. The next one is HRP implementation. Planning is quite easy, but implementation should be effective. A planning should be accordingly, and the implementation should be always in a correct format. The HR manager should know what type of implementation which is workable and which is achievable in a time should be made. And the last one is control and evaluate the plans. After implementation of plan, it is the responsibility of the human resource manager to keep a control on things which is happening in the department and evaluate whether the plan is perfectly coordinating with the implementation strategies. So this is the human resource process in which organizational objectives and policies are the first one. It is based on the uh, it is based on the organizational objectives and policies of human resource planning. It will start from the beginning and it is a never ending process as human is the major requirement and resource of the organization. In a human resource planning, HR should plan to analyze the needs of human resource, which should be based on the objectives and needs that has been arised in the organization and which will arise in future as well, depending on the analysis which he made or she made. The next one is forecast of supply. In the forecast, it is very important to analyze what type of demand has been arise and how to resolve that demand with the perfect supply. Here we can use two techniques. One is export forecast and another one is trend analysis. Export forecast, it includes a person who can really and perfectly analyze what type of people is required for the job and how that vacancy will be created in future. The next one is trend analysis. As the market condition changes day by day, it is very important for the HR manager and for the expert member to analyze the market trends to choose the right candidate for the right job. The next one is forecast supply of HR. As we study, it is a basic purpose of pre-planning the manpower inventory. It is to find out the correct size and quality of manpower that is available within the organization and outside the organization, for which some supply forecast techniques can be used. The first one is market analysis. As we studied earlier, a market analysis a market analysis occurs to analyze what trends are there in the market. The next one is skills inventory. In skills inventory, it is very important to analyze what type of skills should be in the person who is going to be hired for the job in organization, like communication skill, computer operating skill, and other operational skills from the specializations. It should be there in the candidate and it should be addressed while interviewing those candidates. The replacement charts. When the forecasting occurs, at that time, already few people will be working in the organization and in the department. And the forecasting depends on the replacement of those people who are most likely to leave the organization. So, a replacement chart should be prepared, which will help the manager to understand what type of people they are required and how that people are skilled in that particular area of work. The next one is HR programming. The existing number of employees and their skills are compared with the forecasted manpower. It is a need to determine the qualitative and quantitative gaps which has been arised within the workforce. Once an organizations are personalized and supply are forecasted, these two must be balanced in order to vacant can be filled by the right employees at right time. The HR programming should be in a way that it should fulfill the vacancies with the right candidates at the right time with the right skills required. Thank you. Thank you for your valuable time.